All right, so let's get into color tokens, and color tokens are nothing but color tokens are nothing but the use cases of the foundational colors. So let's go ahead and create that. So let's go to the local variable, and then here you can see an example. I have set it up. So you can go ahead and create a new collection, and then let's name it as a color token, and then let's name it as a demo. And now we have a blank. So now here we need to create different categories. So I'm going to show you this trick. So we got to name it primary, and the biggest part of the color variables is organization and the naming of it. So once you figure that out, creating this is very simple. So let's make it as surface. So we want to create like two levels of categories. So we're gonna name that as default and subtle. Okay, so that's how we're gonna name it, because we want primary, secondary, and different like use cases within that. So now we can just duplicate this, and then we can name this as default light, and default, and then duplicate, and default dark. Okay, now here you can see we have primary and we have surface inside that primary. So we need to create that category in tokens, and since we have like so many categories, we're gonna organize it that way. So you might be tempted and go ahead and change the color here, and that happens to the best, but you don't need to change the color from there. You need to tie this up to the foundational color, because when there's a change in the foundational color, it will also change the tokens. They need to be connected with each other. So for the surface, let's make it blue and connect it here. And for the light, go to the libraries, maybe this color, make sure you are matching that, and then go to this library here and do default to 500, and 400 or 500, and let's go to the dark and go select the 600. So you can create to whatever use cases you have. Don't feel the need to kind of stick with the one kind of a naming system. When I was creating this, I have been through like so many design systems and best practices, and kind of this made kind of sense. So you should be able to create like a tokens like this, and here if you click on it, you can create a mode. I will show it to you in a bit later when we are creating the light and the dark mode. And now we can create secondary. Now when we are creating secondary, make sure you select this and then name that as secondary slash surface slash default subtle. Okay, so here you'll be able to create similarly to that one, and that goes to the library. Instead of blue, we're gonna select on purple. We're gonna go to the foundations and select on the foundation color. So similarly, you will be able to create this here, like how we created on the top. So now you can see you are creating like different categories and section. So now let's go to what we have created in the past year. So we have primary, secondary, grayscale, and everything, and then error warning and everything. So I followed the similar process of able to create the category here, and then if you want to like say delete this, you can go delete any kind of a collection. You can go here and click on delete collection or rename it, and you'll be able to do all those modifications from there. And if you want, you can resize it based on your need, so and move it around and then hide the panel and everything. So you'll be able to play around with that from there. So let's go ahead and maybe let's delete this for you to know how to delete things. So if you have this collection, delete collection, and then again it deletes only that specific. It can be scary to know if you're deleting everything, you won't be. And now let's delete this one as well. So at the end, your result should look like this: color tokens, and then you have grayscale, and then you have surface for the primary, border and text, and for the secondary surface, border and text. So I'm kind of like following this naming convention here, which has primary, secondary, error, warning, grayscale, and success. And then within that, there's a standard surface, border, and text, and everywhere it's same thing: surface, border, and text. So that's more than enough: surface, border, and text. And then in the text, you can also have for the icons and everything. So in the text, I did put like icons as well. So you can I'm gonna show you how to assign this color to your component and everything. So that's about the color token. Now let's say we have before we have been creating buttons and everything, right? So let's quickly create a button, and then add an auto layout to it, and then let's add fill, maybe 32, and then 16. We have a button here, and then corner radius as 8. So now we need to, instead of just changing the color from here, we need to use our variables, and whenever there's a change in the variable, it impacts here. Again, you don't have to apply this primitive colors because we have a token defined for that, right? So we have the primary. Let's go to the primary color, since it's a primary button, primary surface. So we're going to use the surface color, and then now we have it's applied to the token. And then now instead of selecting color from here, again we're going to do the similar thing. We're gonna go to the grayscale and then click on negative, and then we have a button. If you see, it's as all the colors are assigned to our variable. So what that means is whenever there's a change in the variable, let's say there's a, because we're gonna do like modes and everything, you want the colors to be changed, right? Or let's say a rebrand happens and then all your colors get changed. So you will be able to just change the foundation color and it will update here. And let's say let's go to the primitives or primitive colors. Yeah, so let's go to this primitives here, and then let's say there's a change in the color that happens to something else. It also changes the button here. You can see the changes that is happening. So that's why variables are helpful. And now we have a button. Let's make it a component. We have the button with has the color variables, and then I'm gonna show you all the mode switch and everything in the upcoming lesson. So that's about the color variables. The thing about color variables is like creating that is easy, but organizing and just naming convention, it takes time. You can refer to the existing design system, or you can follow this the framework I put together as well. But to summarize, you're gonna have the primitives and then the tokens. Tokens are nothing but the use cases of those primitives, and the tokens are tied up to the foundation colors. To create the foundation color, select your primary, secondary color, and then kind of derive those palettes from that. And there are different ways to create color palette, but this one is a good one to start with. And you can create different shades using the different the plugins like the foundations and everything. So that's about the color token. At the end, you should be able to have this primitives, all the foundational colors, and then also have color tokens here. And we're gonna explore the dark mode and the light mode in a bit. So that's about the color tokens. And yeah, this is how you create it. And then if you want to add another mode, you click on the new variable here and you can add that to the corner. So if you don't want that, just click on Ctrl Z and then it will delete it. So that's about the color tokens, and I will see you in another lesson.